What's up, TREADLYFE? We are back with more about what it takes to be a Formula racer, this time at a place y'all might recognize. Yeah, that's right, Leguna Seca for rounds 9 and 10 of the Formula Pro USA Series.
From the corkscrew at Leguna Seca, we're up here on the hill watching some really awesome action going out there on the track already, but wanted to bring you up to this little special spot to talk to you about one of the most feared turns in motorsports history. This is the corkscrew behind us. Now what you can't see is that there's a completely blind corner where you're aiming for a tree and you just kind of got to take a leap of faith as you go over it, because there's some argue that it's a 3-story drop, some argue that it's a 5, but either way, it's a really scary down.
How many of us have raced this legendary place in pixelated versions of our dream cars? Who hasn't done their share of full speed up the Rahal Straight only to miss the braking zone before the corkscrew? But in this game, there is no reset button. 11 turns, 2.2 miles of surreal. Everyone wants to race here, which means the roster is packed with over 50 cars to create the next challenge for Kyle. In a league for beginners, we meet competitors so young they can't legally drive on the roads. What's it like balancing a racing career, homework, and being a kid? You remember Rayce? We caught up with him while we were at Laguna.
My whole family has been involved with racing for forever. So I grew up at the racetracks all around Colorado. Grew up around Formula cars, so that's what really started me into really wanting to be an IndyCar driver, and that's really how we got started into it. And
so what else do you do besides the open wheel racing with Formula cars?
I do Colorado, just because we have a little more numbers there in Spec Miata, and it's a great way to just learn how to drive before you get into anything too expensive.
You're a pretty busy guy. You got a lot going on in life. You're in school and you're racing Spec Miatas and you're racing Formula cars too. How do you balance all this?
It's a little difficult. I mean, luckily with school, my school doesn't say too much about it. They let me keep doing it as long as I get A's and get all my stuff turned in on time. But so far this summer, I think we've had 3 weekends where we weren't at a racetrack. So it's been a really busy summer, and hopefully it just keeps getting busier.
Tell us a little bit about Indy. How are you feeling going into that?
Feeling pretty good, especially after this weekend. It's going to be at Sonoma, where we've already been, so luckily track shouldn't be too hard to learn. It should be a really great opportunity to get my name out there, especially since it's a televised event, and hope for the best.
What is your favorite track out of all the ones that you've driven on?
It's a hard question. I mean, some of the Colorado tracks are pretty great. There aren't a whole lot there, but I'd have to say either Laguna or Sonoma.
What do you think is the most important thing for a racer when it comes to driver development and training?
I mean, what I've always been told is it's 90% being able to market yourself and being able to get yourself out there, and it's 10% driving, because if you can't market yourself but you're a great driver, you're not going to be able to go anywhere. So that's what we're really pushing for, is to really get ourselves out there, get sponsors recognizing us as a race car driver and not just as some kid living his dream.
What do you feel like was your big event this season already, or do you feel like you haven't hit it yet?
I'd have to say Indy is going to be the biggest event of the year. Best chance to market, best chance to really, like I said, put yourself out there and get people recognizing. I'm in a driver development program, so it's been a learning opportunity every step of the way. Biggest accomplishment was actually probably this race, being able to stay close to Courtney, be right on her, so when the opportunity hit, I was able to strike and get in front. I'd like to say a quick thank you to all my sponsors: Shady Rays, HJC Motorsports, Spencer Fain, VMB. Thank you especially to them for this wonderful opportunity to be here. World Speed, Mascot Pet Products. I mean, just thank you guys so much for the opportunity to be out here and to be able to race.
You hear Rayce talk about the challenges racers face. It's not easy going from zero to hero in motorsports. Being fast isn't all that's required. Having a racing career isn't all unlike owning your own business with an insane overhead. Even with low-cost leagues popping up, these young racers have to find a way to fund $150,000 or more a season. And working at McDonald's just isn't gonna get it done. If you're not scared yet, and facing the rejection of sponsors doesn't faze you, then perhaps this really is for you. The climb to the podium has been a fast one for Bryson Lew, who at age 8 started an unusual career path behind the wheel of a go-kart. Fast forward to 7 years to the 2018 Indy Finals, he finished a season in the Formula Car Challenge, first in his class and second overall. This is an astonishing achievement to a seasoned racer, let alone someone who doesn't even have their driver's license yet. While most of us were still playing with Hot Wheels, this youngster was already representing the Team USA at Rock Karting Finals in Italy with 6 of his US peers. Among the 99 competitors from 48 countries, his best finish was 11th. Speeding into the coming season, Bryson has already hit the infamous Le Mans circuit in France. It's been 20 years since an American has raced in the French Formula 4. He's among the fastest of the 25 drivers chosen to compete in 21 races across Europe in the beginner league designed to train the future of Formula 1 drivers. So what is day-to-day life like for a professional race car driver? We've been following Kyle Loh a lot to more places than just a track. We've showed you the road of competitive kart races, simulator training practice, and today we're at a test day at Sonoma getting ready for the rounds during IndyCar finals.
These test days, what is this like? What's the purpose of a test day for you guys?
A lot of people look at test days to prepare themselves for race weekends. The way I look at it is it sort of feels just like going to school, because the reason I go to test days is to educate myself and teach myself driving techniques to make the car go faster.
Here's the bonus challenge for this episode: how to keep the bugs off your visor.
So if you take it off nice and clean, a little bit of scratch on the bottom where there was no tear off to protect it, but this is the general area what that matters. Look at how dirty this is.
Oh yeah, I can see it on the film. It catches
splattered bugs, but this is a great tear off, because with this tear off, you get pretty much three tear offs in one piece. So 3 different layers. They're racing optics, so they're a really great tear off.
Do you change them every race, or?
I change them when I run out of tear offs, so it's time to get new ones.
Thankfully, it's not as hot today as it was at our last test day at Thunder Hill, where I witnessed Kyle cordoned off to his own section of the West track. The temperature was topping 107 on the asphalt. He wasn't just conditioning his response to the car's spin, but learning that he could push himself to physical limits unknown. Laguna presented its own lesson in testing Kyle's limits.
Yeah, it was a really fun race to just race at Leguna Seca. The track obviously has a lot of history behind it. It's definitely a lot of fun to drive on the track and take all these famous corners. Really test the limits, but at the same time it was a tad bit frustrating because there was over 40 cars in that field, and half of them were slower than my car, which is nice, but whoops, it kind of interfered with my race against my competitors. But the whole purpose behind that race is still to learn and develop myself as a driver. So.
One stop was to see Kyle's race on the streets of Lancaster, California.
Yeah, we're out here in the streets of Lancaster Grand Prix in Lancaster, California. But this right here is the final round of the California Pro Kart Challenge. We've been racing around Northern and Southern California all year, and this is the perfect place to have a finale. Big crowd throughout the weekend, and it's going to be super exciting. Next year, we're pretty unclear with what we're going to do with go-kart racing, but for sure we're going to put a lot of focus into the Formula 4 stuff with World Speed and SSI Racing School, getting on the sim, getting some laps in there on the programs. And yeah, I'm pretty confident we could aim for a big title next year in the Formula Car Challenge. But for now, we're just going to go-kart race.
Just says, how's life?
How's life? I'd say it's going pretty solid. We just finished up the season. We're currently just planning on what we're going to do for 2019, despite like having to also put our focus towards this race weekend as well. I'm already sending a ton of emails to the team and to potential partners, trying to work out how we can make the next season more budget efficient. Yeah, it's been going pretty good.
And so what does a race car driver spend the most time doing in their off season?
Emails. Emails and simulator time. Maybe some go-kart practice here and there, just to stay sharp with the G-force. Definitely, like, the off-season is not an excuse to go on like a 2-month vacation. We still got to put some sort of effort for next year. We got to stay in tip-top shape so we can't like pig out and eat ice cream all day. I wish we could though. That'd be sick. But yeah, looking for a better nutritional program to follow after. More alkalines, less acidic food. But yeah, just throughout the off seasons, a lot of simulator testing, a lot of planning for next year. The next time I'll be in the F4 is probably going to be the Winter Series in January next year, and that's a lot of opportunities for drivers like myself to test out the race cars and just get ready for the main series the following season.
Yep, emails. And the willingness to keep sending them because you don't think big dreams are impossible. In the next episode, we're headed to the IndyCar Finals at Sonoma Raceway, in front of the crowds and under the pressure to find out what else it takes to be a racer.
How do you prepare for a race like this? What happens in the days and weeks before?
A lot of the preparation for me personally like comes on the day of the race, or it could be like the minute before the race. Like it sort of like kind of escapes my mind a little bit, and then the next thing you know, oh, I have to race tomorrow. Cool. And I'm pretty excited about it for the most part. I always enjoy getting in the car and putting laps in, learning along the way. And then usually I finally get myself like into that focus mode, like as we're going on the out lap, getting myself familiar with the sensations, and yeah, just visualizing what my inputs are for the race start to make it out in one piece.
What we think after spending a season with Kyle? It takes an incredible courage to climb into that race car, and he makes it look easy. But we learned how he can make it look so easy. Through hanging out with him, we've had a chance to get to know the strength of his character, and at a young age he demonstrates that he can tame his reflexes, impulses, ego, and fear, being motivated by a greater purpose. We are our own fiercest competition with the expectations we place on ourselves. I know I'm not the only one who sees promise in Kyle. The makings of a great racer on the track and off by keeping his forward momentum going. He's endorsed by the companies and people who invest their time and efforts into training him. We all believe.